Are Beast Lords any good? Alright, let's do this. This is out of my comfort zone, but I want to cover Lords too, and I'll start with the generics and work my way to the legendary Lords while filling any holes I've left in the roster. Please like, subscribe, comment, and consider donating to my Ko-fi page. It's been a rough couple of years, but hopefully I provide the time to actually update that page properly. But every bit helps. Thanks. So let's start with the stat basics. Beast Lords come in at 46-56 hit points and 70 armor, no shield, 15% missile resistance, 70 leadership, and 38 speed. They begin with melee attack of 60, attack interval of 4, and max splash targets damaged is 8. 8 is an unusually high number. Melee defense is 14. Melee strength begins at 470, divided between base 310 and armor piercing 160. Charge bonus is 60. Mass is 800. Besides a shield, what's missing from this that the Wargore had? A bonus versus infantry. Also, the Wargore has more armor piercing, although substantially less base damage. The Wargore has a touch more armor, less hit points, and melee attack and charge bonus, but not by some frightening amount. Just like Wargores, Beast Lords have Primal Fury, Woodsman, Hide in Forest, and the Leadership Aura as upgraded through Texan skills if available. So the Beast Lord is not as specialized at anti-infantry as the Wargore, but on the other hand, Primal Fury jacking up melee attack to 65 before potential items, that's pretty good. Against low armor, squishy characters, the Beast Lord is definitely strong. Now, if you're wondering about the differences in armor, melee attack, and defense, weapon strength, and so on and so forth, versus a Wargore wall on a Tuskgore chariot or Razorgore chariot, here's the thing. There isn't one. Any difference between the two vanishes when on the mount. I mean, besides the difference in leadership and hit points, there really is no difference. The rest is just what melee line skills are applied and anything special on top of that, such as items. In sum, Razorgore indisputably hits harder than Tuskgore, so if both are available, don't use the Tuskgore without a really good reason. Otherwise, just use Tuskgore as a stepping stone. Without a fat shield, there's not much reason to keep the Lord on foot if you don't have to. Even if the weapon damage starts weaker with the Tuskgore, at least you're getting tons of armor-piercing damage and the anti-infantry bonus to help compensate. Since this is my first Beastman Lord video, I want to walk through the blue line skills briskly to give you perspective. Gargantuan Hooves grants plus 10% movement range, not the plus 5 most factions would get. Feasting Upon Man grants up to 30% increase in raiding income and also increases income from raising settlements, by a maximum of 8%. I mean, that's nice, but you get a lot even without this. Blessed by Evil grants up to a 30% chance of stealing a magic item from a defeated enemy and raises post-battle loot by 15%. Again, not at all bad, but you get plenty of post-battle loot as you go. Feated Collapse grants a maximum of 30% reduction of attrition damage and plus 6% to casualty replenishment. There's never anything bad about casualty replenishment, but attrition would have to be special cases like rights. Terrain isn't going to cause it naturally. Ruination is interesting because it adds 15% to the attrition suffered by a defender during a siege and reduces control by 8, so revolts could come faster this way. I'm not sure there's any safe way to rely on revolts, but inevitably, you will have to besiege places. Unholy Resilience is the standard plus 30% Lord HP replenishment and reduces the wound recovery time, which kind of depends on not being killed, just saying. Lightning Strike is what it is for all factions these days. Only the third pip allows Lightning Strike battles, but reducing enemy reinforcement time is never bad, except when there are no reinforcements, obviously. Corruption increases Chaos Undivided Corruption by a max of plus 4 per turn, but also increases the magic item drop chance by 15% on its own. Beastmen have some very good items, so at least consider it. Gathering of Beasts increases your horde recruiting capacity, which means each army's ability to recruit from an encamped stance. It in no way increases herdstone recruitment. Maximum of plus 3 slots. Foul Premonitions gives you a max of 10% better ambush chance, 10% better intercept chance, and 15% ambush defense chance. Well, if you're fighting Skaven, then I guess you'd want this. Finally, Children of Chaos gives you a passive plus 1 to Bestial Rage, plus 5% more campaign movement, minus 10% enemy hero success rate, plus 25% chance of wounding an attacking hero, and plus 1 to recruit rank. Unless I'm missing something, isn't this basically the only way to get a boost in recruit ranks in the entire roster aside from events? And for regular units, of course. I've been covering the redline skills as relate to particular units, so I won't go over the unit-specific ones, but the capstone of that tree is Apocalyptic Vision, which gives a plus 16 leadership and plus 24 melee attack in a 35-meter radius. That's a big deal. It takes a while to reach, but no question, it helps. My Gorebull video covered the standard Beastman melee line, which is reproduced for the Beastlord. You build up to Foe Seeker and Deadly Onslaught, just like with tons and tons of factions. There's some Khazrak style special sauce here, so let's go over those too. Fueled by Blood gives a flat 5% speed buff to your entire army, and Fatigue builds at a 15% slower rate. That's nice, that's useful. Bloodlust triggers your inner Khorne and grants a 25% armor-piercing buff to a target of your choice. Yourself? A giant? Anyone. This is another of the Rich Get Richer skill, and it has unlimited uses but comes with a cooldown. It's still absolutely worth it. There are 2 paths for a buff to yourself and then 1 to your army opening up at rank 5. Manbane grants plus 5 melee attack and plus 10% weapon strength to the Beastlord, and Crown of Horns adds 10% weapon strength to the entire army. Rune of the True Beast adds plus 5 melee defense and plus 10% more missile resistance to the Beastlord, and Slug Skin adds 10% missile resistance to the entire army. These 2 flavors are mutually exclusive. Voice of the Dark Gods is a chaos-related skill that just lets you project the Encourage aura even further. Well, if you're a redline specialist, you probably want this eventually. As per usual, Uncanny Senses gives 15% spell resistance, and Gnarled Hide gives 10% more missile resistance, neither of which are bad. That's pretty much the Beastlord for you. So what can we conclude from all this? The Beastlord is the true generic Beastman general. On foot, he's unusually strong in actual fighting, but lacks specialties. He's very heavily tilted toward base damage, but is equally effective against infantry and cavalry, with an unusually high splash size. As soon as you get him on a mount, he is just another character on a chariot. But the Beastman chariots rock. At the very least, you can get them in and out of trouble more easily. Since by definition a Beastlord army is an extra army, you should probably vary how you spec out the lord depending on the trait of whichever one you recruit. One that comes packaged with an inborn increase to rating and sacking income should go blue line to get even more bonuses to rating and sacking income. Other than that, just try and keep them alive and the problem takes care of itself. You will get the skills you feel are appropriate. The real secret to such a generic lord is that they're flexible, but it only matters if you pick the heroes to bring a particular intended style into reality. The Wargore can dramatically change how your army plays, and the Gorebull can buff like crazy in a radius and bring melee pain. Obviously shamans can help too, but then you have to pick the flavor and live with it. That's where your build should really come from. So yeah, besides the traits, you have to make them memorable through the choices you make for them. Because the very plainness means that there's no way they'll carry an army on their backs, no matter how good the yellow or red line buffs are. You're building a team. You have a competent but mundane general. What will you surround him with, and why? Once you have an answer, and that can fit within your unit caps, you're off to the races. Then you build your horde buildings to match. Take care, and have fun Razor Goring the competition. Because yeah, a Razor Gore is a Razor Gore, they hit hard. Don't forget that in the heat of battle.